this example, we're asked to calculate the perimeter of a figure by adding rational expressions together. So the directions here are find an expression that represents the perimeter of the figure. Perimeter, just to remind you what that means, that's the sum of all of the sides of a shape. The sum of all sides, or the distance around a shape, in other words. Okay. The distance around it, or the sum of all the sides. So in this is a triangle. We've got three sides, 3 over 4x centimeters for one side, x minus 1 over 2x squared centimeters for the second side, and then 1 over x centimeters for the third side. So to get the perimeter, we just have to add up the three sides. So I'm just going to say P for perimeter here. Perimeter is 3 over 4x. I'm going to leave off the centimeter units until the end. So 3 over 4x plus x minus 1 over 2x squared, and then plus 1 over x. Okay. We need to get a common denominator, as always, with adding or subtracting rational expressions. So looking at our three denominators here, none of them can be factored other than potentially factoring 4 as 2 times 2 if we want to do that. I'm going to write down the common denominator on the side to know what we're shooting for here. So the least common denominator is always the least common multiple of the denominators that are involved. Between a 4 and a 2, the least common multiple of those two numbers is a 4. So we need a 4 for the least common denominator. We have an x squared, and an x. You always go with the highest exponent that occurs when you have the same factor occurring more than one time. This is x to the first power. This is x to the second power. This is x to the first power. So the highest power that occurs on the x is to the second power. We therefore need x squared in the common denominator. So we're trying to turn all three denominators into 4x squared. Okay, so this is going to be here 3 over 4x. We need to multiply the numerator and denominator by whatever's necessary to convert 4x into 4x squared. So that would be an x. 4x times x would make 4x squared. So I'm multiplying the numerator and denominator of this first fraction by x in order to get the common denominator. For the second fraction, we've got x minus 1 all over 2x squared. And once again, we need to figure out what do we need to multiply the denominator by to get a 4x squared on the bottom. So 2x squared times 2 would become 4x squared on the bottom. So let's multiply the numerator and denominator by 2 for the second fraction. And then for the third fraction, we've got plus 1 over x. Let's see, what do we need to multiply the x by to turn it into 4x squared? 4x, I think. X times 4x would make 4x squared. So let's multiply the numerator and denominator of that third fraction by 4x. Okay, so we're on our way to adding these fractions together. 3 times x would make 3x for the numerator over 4x times x makes 4x squared. And then plus, the 2 needs to be multiplied by the x minus 1. It's a binomial there, so I'm thinking of it as x minus 1 in parentheses. The 2 needs to be distributed in order to multiply the 2 by the x minus 1. So that would become 2x minus 2 all over 2x squared times 2 makes 4x squared. Plus, for the last fraction, 1 times 4x in the numerator makes 4x, and then x times 4x in the denominator makes 4x squared. All three fractions have the same denominator, and we're ready to make it a single fraction now. So let's see. We have 3x plus 2x minus 2, and then plus 4x. And that's all over top of 4x squared. We're almost there. We just need to combine like terms in the numerator. So 3x plus 2x makes 5x, and then plus another 4x makes 9x. So adding the x terms together, 3x plus 2x plus 4x adds up to 9x. And then we've got the minus 2 constant term all over 4x squared. Sometimes we're done here. We need to just check it out and see if we could factor the numerator possibly. And I don't think we can factor the numerator at all, so there's no way to reduce to lower terms there. This is it. And let's just put the centimeters to have the units on there. So the result for the perimeter is 9x minus 2 all over 4x squared centimeters.